Yeah, that's really sad. Daniel, let's pin to screen. Okay. Then change layout. Tiled. Tile doesn't do anything either. What a freaking dumb system. You can't have two people show up equally on the screen?
Apparently not on YouTube or on Google Meets.
That is really, really sad. I'm never using Google Meets again for this then. How that is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anyways, so yeah. Well, I guess we just pretty much figured it out. I mean, talking about COVID-19 and software that we use or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
just so that we can put this in the comments below, we'll basically say skip to this point, so that they can start it. So we'll just start it right now at, how many minutes are we in? um,
Uh, 30 minutes.
Nice. 31 minutes ago. Okay. So yeah, so what are the softwares that we use to run everything? So we use Basecamp, um, to run all of our projects through. Right now we're a three-man core team with some various work in the pipeline to be done by others. We use people that are in the United States and abroad from time to time. We've been in existence since January of 2019, although we've all been doing our own thing for much longer than that. As far as like COVID-19 and stuff, and as far as how things have adapted or whatnot, I don't know. I've just enjoyed the pressure of the of everything. I don't know if you have or not, and how you feel about it.
Oh, I do the same. It's just been a interesting ride, a lot of growth, a lot of learning, um, but, enjoying the process.
Yeah,
COVID-19, it caught a lot of people off guard, specifically for those that were, that worked inside of, corporations or office spaces and whatnot, as opposed to, someone that's always worked remote. So, if you're not having to go into an actual office space, but you're already set up from home, you're already adapted to that for the most part. The only difference is how COVID's affecting, you or your family is adjustment and shifting to the schedule.
hey, real quick,
So it's like,
I was going to tell you that, have you ever thought about moving your camera down so that it just gets level to you instead of, in other words, it's like you have so much top space above your head that, it would be nice to kind of just get you framed up a little bit better. And I don't know if you have an external camera that you can use to get that done.
well, when I'm looking at my camera feed right now, my face is actually center of the
No, no, no.
frame.
It is, but that's not how it should be. So you don't want a lot of space like up above your head. You want a little bit of space above your head before the top of the frame. Is that coming
I'll
off of
just
your laptop or is it coming off of something else?
coming off my laptop.
Have you ever thought about just tilting your laptop forward, the screen on it, so that the camera actually focuses more on you? Yeah.
This is what you do. I don't like that. So I prefer to have it up here. So in the future, what I would do is I'll just use something else to manage my camera stream, and then adjust it and frame it the way that you would want for if you're trying to focus on a silhouette on an onset environment. So like with Zoom, it gives you that ability to be able to set that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to say anything other than I was taught by Guy Kawasaki that the profile image that you present of yourself, you don't want to have a ton of space up top, and that he did all these studies on different types of profile photos and who is most important. But it just looks like you're really far sunk down. That's all. But I mean, it works
It's
fine. I'm just
it's because
generally
I'm a
chatting.
little phone. So if I bring myself to it, then it adjusts the depth of the camera. It's like, the way I was kind of taught by Scott Kelby, when you're trying to do, pictorial photos and things like that. I like to bring things like to center frame. That's just typically me, so it's got even spacing around it. Just depends on the perception of how you're trying to capture it. But when you're streaming, yeah, typically you'd want just a little bit of area around the face.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Interesting stuff. Um,
So
so what else did we want to go over and just kind of throw some tidbits and stuff like that out? What's the software that we use? We use Jira. We use Atlassian
Basecamp.
products, Basecamp. We use Premium Slack, Premium Zoom. Um,
We use software that mirrors and allows us to keep workflows in place, such as a service called Unito. So it allows us to bring different application platforms together to be able to bridge those communications.
mhm.
And then to a point, allowing to easily transition from one team to another. So once it hits a certain phase, it goes through a cycle. It allows the next side to continue their steps. So it goes from the project management side, gets sent down to the technical side. So that would be the DevOps team and stuff like that. The manager would sign that out, goes through its agile flow. Once it reaches its review stage completion, then it gets marked complete and it gets synchronized back into the other platform.
Yeah, we've been
Um,
working it out. It's been pretty good. Hey, are you getting a lot of feedback from audio right now?
no,
No? Okay.
are you?
Yeah, it's pretty scratchy on my end, but
How about now?
no, it's
Is
gone
that
now.
better?
Yeah, it's way better. I don't know what you just did, but that's done. Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, so interesting stuff, but I mean, as far as like COVID-19 and like how it's affected us and different things like that, I mean, I think that we've seen like a slight drop in revenue, but it hasn't been anything necessarily dramatic per se. Um, it couldn't have really happened at a. You could sit here and say, well, it didn't. It could. It's like the worst time for us. Everybody's going to think it's the worst time for them. Like they're going to say to themselves, like, this couldn't have happened at the worst time, And I'm like, well, problems don't they don't have a mind, so it's not like they're going to choose the best time for you to be like, oh, now's a good time for me to throw five more issues at you at one time. I think it's all in how you handle it. It's like we've been onboarding, a new crew member, Ryan, and he's kind of taken over what we call our digital manager spot. And essentially, it's the agile coach or product manager crossed over with an account manager and a strategist role. So they kind of see projects through all the way to the end, products through all the way to the end. And because one of the things that we do, we're a marketing agency, but we focus a lot on the actual, we focus a lot more on like inbound marketing, which, all roads lead to, all roads lead to Rome, which is your website. So a lot of what we do is they are projects, but they're faced on a product, which is the website itself. But yeah, I mean, we were onboarding Ryan, and of course, COVID happens, and we're just like,
Exactly.
but yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's pretty much in a nutshell what we've been working on is trying to get our flow a little bit more tuned in, and I think we're all in different time zones, so there's some challenges with that, but I think we're getting into a flow, which is, again, one of the main reasons why, I think, asynchronous communication, again, just the philosophy from Jason Fried and the guys over at Basecamp and whatnot works so well, so that you don't, as long as everybody continues to perform. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting recently that I read was that, there's all these people that say that working from home um, creates this. I mean, first of all, I don't think we even said this, but how long have we been working from home? I've been working from home for, I mean, on and off basically for a decade. So 10 years. And then what
15
about,
for me.
yeah, so 15 for you. So like you've never really worked in an office, right?
Fortune 500 company offices. I worked at the state of California at UC Berkeley. I've worked in offices in downtown Pleasanton, California, at data analytics and consulting companies. But a majority of my time has always been remote, even though I did work in those office spaces. So for a period of like 9 months over the past, for uh, 2010 to 2013, I was in and out of the office. So it was 9 months straight in the office, and then 4 months I was out, and then 9 months straight I was back in the office. Specifically, like with Denali. Um, there's been other jobs, but mostly it's all been remote.
So looking back on your work history, how much do you think was spent remote, and then how much do you think was spent in an office?
80% of the time has been remote. 20% of the time has been in office. If I were to project across all the work and jobs that I've done,
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
um, yeah, I would say 20% overall. If I were to boil it down to, the last three jobs, it would have been 35% in office, 65%, at home.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, that's interesting for sure. I think, something that I was reading the other day from an article that was covered, or an article that covered Basecamp and stuff, was they basically said that working from home actually does the opposite, that it doesn't make you underperform. It actually has the tendency to make you overperform, that you don't ever separate yourself from work. So you actually you're more prone to overwork than you are underwork, which actually I kind of agree with. I think working from home, you're more susceptible to overworking than you are underworking. I mean, I know at times it's so easy just to bounce in, wherever your workstation is set up, and just to come in and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to get this one thing done. And then you look down, and 2 hours later, you're still doing something, just, I
It
thought that was
can be.
interesting.
What article and source was that from, if you don't mind me asking?
That was from, I'd have to go back in my history. It was something that was served up to me. Like I said, it was a quote from Jason Fried. It's definitely a quote from Jason Fried, but it was covered in another article, so it was a reference to him. Let me go
Perfect. So
back.
what we can do is we can just reference that back into the link source later. So that would be a good, at least some people might be curious about those articles.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Um, so for me, it's like over time I've built healthy habits around work. So one, like if you're just doing consulting and you're running your business, so you're typically always going to try to stay on top of communications with your clients. But if you're in a contract position, you're delegated a certain hours of work and you're expected to perform those certain hours or obligation to fulfill so many hours per day or per week. So then what I would do was I'd set, let's say, 6 hour time block per day, and I'd make sure that nothing else is interrupting me except for those 6 hours for that specific work. And then I'd clock out. I wouldn't review. Someone sent me an email, it's important. I actually got a call from the supporting team that I need to put my eyes on this. Otherwise, I'm out. I'm not even touching it. I wouldn't even acknowledge it existed. At least that's for me. But speaking of things that power a company, infomercial. Speaking of bang,
Right.
helps us bang out this work quicker.
Yeah, no, totally.
When
I'm all about the
sponsor
bang.
tag.
Right. Um, yeah, no, interesting stuff. Well, cool. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the live stream test. I mean, it was good stuff, good testing. So we're using, I know, Daniel, you're on a Mac and I'm on a PC, and I have my other Mac or whatever on the side, which I'm watching, which is really weird. Um, but, and then we're using, what open source software are we using?
Open broadcast
Yeah, Open
software.
Broadcaster software. Cool. Yeah, I think our next steps is to figure out how we can stream everywhere at one time. So like, Periscope, Facebook, whatever.
We've been everywhere, man. We're gonna be everywhere.
Cool. Anything else?
I don't see. I don't see anything else that we need to go over today.
Awesome, awesome. So then we would just end the stream through the YouTube settings, right? Inside of the studio.
Yep.
Cool, cool.